antifungal, and you come up with a pretty decent list. And I was like, I think I want to make a tea. Like, why not? why not make why not make this product that I think I would like, and then why not sell it, you know? And so I had my best friend who also loves tea, is very much a tea connoisseur. We did a taste testing. Like, I was like, okay, I need you to help me with the ratios, figure out what's, how much of this one, how much of that one to put in there. And so that was really, it was like my immune health coupled with 2020 was like, okay, the world needs to have this
Yeah.
option to
Yeah.
support them when they feel like they're getting sick, but also when they are sick, and or just because it's a warming tea. It's very cinnamony,
Mhm.
and it's got cinnamon bark and orange peel, so it just is like tastes. It's like, to me, it's like winter. It just tastes like all the
Yeah.
things you want, like fall, winter. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Oh, I need to try it.
I know I need to get you back.
Yeah.
Should have got you back when you were
That's
here.
amazing. It's so awesome to see people take things in their life and be creative and make their own product. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
And so you started making that in 2020.
I started playing with the idea of making it in 2020, like herbs and which ones to use, doing some research, and then I launched it in 2021 because
Okay.
I was like, I just not getting my acting gear fast enough to
Yeah.
actually get it in 2020. I
Okay, so
wanted to
you'll
have it ready for Black Friday, but I did not.
yeah. All right, so you haven't been doing that long. Wow,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
it's
so
still pretty
cool.
new. I
All
know.
right, and so any other? I'm going to ask you about how your move from California to Texas. Is there anything I'm missing from your journey as an adult before then?
No, I mean, I feel like we've touched on some of the, the big
Yeah, I
career
mean,
things and health things.
yeah, I mean, that's definitely some big, and it feels like everything kind of started for you like in a certain amount of time period, right? Like, would you say?
Yeah, like my 30s have like really,
Yeah.
it was like 30s have been, so I'm 39 now. It's like, it feels like, okay, I'm hoping by the time I'm into my next decade that like I've got all figured out. And I
Yeah, and are
don't mean
you
that lightly, but like I still have some gut issues that I'm trying to work out. And I like, okay, I really would like those to be resolved. Like, it feels like, could I close this chapter and be
yeah.
like, yeah, I found health again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of bringing that to the next
Yeah. Well, it's another learning opportunity for you to create something else, right?
That's true. That's true. I know. I was like, do I diversify and make like a like really
Yeah.
like thinking about like a tummy tea or something. I
Yeah.
don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Something that like supports gut health, which this one does. It does have stuff that supports gut health, but could I focus more on it? The thoughts have
Yeah.
been in there, but I
Yeah.
haven't done anything
You're
yet.
trickling in.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I can't wait to try your tea.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe
So,
you can help me play with the flavor profiles
yes,
when I
yes,
get there.
definitely. So, what is your human design again?
Oh gosh.
Do you
I think
remember?
I was a manifesting, maybe
Yeah,
it's just a
I
generator.
think
Just
you are a manifesting generator. Do you remember your profile?
I have it.
'Cause I
I
remember
just
you mentioning this, and then I was like, oh, I think what you had was mine, your profile.
saved it to my generator, and then what was the profile is 6'2".
Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh, it all makes sense. I'm a 6'2" too. So yeah, you have that in your profile. The six in your profile is all about 3 stages of life. You have these experiences up until like 39, and then you start resting from all the experiences, and then you start teaching. Like these 3 phases. So while you were talking, I was like, I think she is a 6. So it's
I know
always
I know very little about it. Mostly you helped me learn more. So it's one of those like I can only deal with so much new learning
I
at a time.
know, I know, me too. I get overwhelmed because I love to soak in information, and sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, this is too much. I want to learn this. I want to learn this. I want to learn this. I can't.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay, 2020 hits, the world changes. And so how did that affect your life?
Um, you know, I think the problem that I had with the public health response into 2020 is that it wasn't taking anything into account that we already knew about immune health and how to support the immune system. Like telling people to stay inside, I was like, okay, maybe don't go socialize, but they need to go for walks. Like tell people to go for a walk around the block, get some sunshine. Like hard stop. Like there's nothing in the world that can't be helped with some sunshine and a walk. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
those are free. Those are free.
Yeah.
So I just was like, there were some big red flags for me. No talking about vitamin D, no talking about vitamin C, not saying stay hydrated, just some real basics that like, I felt were missing. And
Right.
and in California, I felt alone. There was very few people that I know, and being a teacher, I felt even more alone because I don't think like most of my colleagues when it comes to this stuff. And so it was like, what is going on with the state? I thought we were like a my body, my choice state. Like,
yeah, I know. It's like, what is happening?
And and like having been really involved in the medical system, like I don't think most people have had 4 surgeries, like major surgeries, like wisdom teeth or whatever, or minor. Have been in and out of the hospital system, have heard a doctor. This was a big one for me. I was getting chemo and I was going for my 5th round, and my oncologist was like, yeah, your liver enzyme levels are too high. And like they've been going up, and they expect them to go up as you do chemo because you're adding this huge burden to the liver, and it's all toxic, and your liver has to clear it. And so he said to me, and he's like, okay, we'll come back in a week. We'll do another blood draw and we'll see if they get better. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm in the middle of nutrition school because I was still going to school like online when I could. I switched from being an in-person student to an online student. And I was like, let me look at that liver module again, So I go back and I look at all the ways to detoxify, and you need amino acids, and you need a variety of amino acids to support all the different detoxification pathways. And amino acids are protein precursors. And so I was like, okay, I need to eat high quality protein, and a lot of it. I need to cut the sugar out because your liver does part of its job is to store sugar. And so, if I had been having like a sugar pity party, like ice cream every night, which I never do, like never in my life, and certainly not before treatment. But I was like, whatever, like I can have ice cream. It's fine. I won't be doing this forever. I'm just going to have a little pity party. It's okay. And I was like, I got to cut the sugar out. And I had really high quality protein. I did liver supportive foods, which were like any of your green vegetables, anything in that broccoli, cauliflower family, onions, anything in that family, onions, garlic, leeks. So I just had like really healthy food for that whole week. And my numbers dropped, I think, nearly 100 points. Maybe it was like 80 or 90 points, which was really significant, still really elevated. And I went back and looked at all my numbers, and I have it, and we have it actually in I also have a cancer course. I don't know if you realize that.
But yeah, I remember seeing that when I first met you. Forgot about that. Okay, let's talk about that after this. Okay.
I forgot. I don't even forget. But so I went back and looked at all my labs for years before, and just documented it all. I was like, wow, this is a huge spike and then a pretty significant drop. So I go to the doctor's office for that second that delayed chemo, and he's like, wow, your enzymes are in a much better place. We can go forward with chemo today. What'd you do? And I was like, oh, well, I cut out all the sugar, and I ate really high quality protein, a variety of proteins, liver supportive foods. And he literally said to me, that couldn't have been it. And mind you, this was my obese oncologist.
That couldn't have been it. Okay.
Yeah, that couldn't have been it. Who at the beginning, when I said, what should I eat? What should I do for my health? Like newly diagnosed, the first session with him, like, what should I do? He's like, eat whatever you've always been eating. And I was like, what if I ate McDonald's? Like, you don't know what I eat. I eat really healthy, but you don't know what I eat. So how can you just say that to me?
Yeah.
And I know where he's coming from is that like, it can be hard to eat. So sometimes it's hard to stomach food when you're going through chemo. And also, not everybody is proactive and wants to like change their life to support themselves during a cancer diagnosis. Some people are not in a mental headspace to do that. So then they don't want you as the patient to feel a blame game on yourself. Like they don't, and yeah, I'm not that patient, and he didn't know me well enough to know that I wanted action items.
Right.
I wanted him to tell me what I could do. in hindsight, I know he has no idea what I should do to support myself as far as nutrition goes. So that's really what that is. But I was just like, and I'm just that person who was like, okay, well, if you can't tell me what, so I said, well, what was it? If that couldn't have been it for helping my liver enzymes drop like 80 to 90 points, what was it? He's like, well, I don't know, but that couldn't have been it. And I was like, well, until you can come up with a better answer, that was it. I was like, don't you, I'm about
Oh
to
my gosh, not
like,
even, oh, maybe, you would think maybe it could be,
or even just
like,
saying, wow, that's amazing. I'm really impressed that you did all of that. I don't
yeah.
know what caused it, but certainly a healthy diet with, certainly reducing sugar and having high quality protein.
Yeah, but doctors, medical school, they don't teach, they don't have nutrition class, right?
They get about one lecture's worth of nutrition. It really depends. But,
Okay.
one, not a course, not even a whole course on nutrition. A couple of
Wow,
lectures,
that is
probably at
so
the most.
absurd.
Yes.
I can't even believe it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, liver, being that, like, I was like, okay, my doctor has no idea how nutrition impacts health, and seeing that then nobody in 2020 was acknowledging how nutrition can impact immune health was pretty frustrating for me. So I just felt like California had lost its mind. And it was like, okay, and it's not going anywhere. Like, California's lost its mind and nothing's seeming to change. You know what I mean? And so it was like, what's going on here? And at that moment in time, I needed to have this surgery. Like, I knew I needed to have these implants out. And so, like, things were just being delayed. And I was like, well, we're not going anywhere anytime soon because I need this job for this insurance for the, like, it was, this has to happen for that. But come January of 2020, and mind you, my brother and I and Jim had bought a duplex in California in 2009, and so we lived next to each other for 10 years until he moved out to Oregon. And when that happened, my Jim was like, oh, we'll probably move into Oregon. Like, he just assumed, like, you and your brother are so close, we're just gonna move to Oregon, it's gonna happen. And so we would go up there and visit him, and we'd go up there and visit him, and I'm like, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. Politically, it feels way too much like California right now. I wouldn't choose that place at this moment in time. And so we just started talking about where we would move. And I don't know, I think it was Jim. I'm pretty sure it was Jim, just looking on Zillow. He was like taking a social media break, so he would just spend some time looking at Zillow instead. And he's like, do you know how much we could get for this place if we sold it? Do you, even with like taking out the amount that we owe still on our mortgage, do you know how much we could get for this place? Do you know how much properties are in Texas? Like, that was like the conversation, how it started in January of 2021. And then we were like, okay, well, if we wanted to move, we want to leave California, where would we move? Well, he's a musician. We want to go somewhere that you can do music. He can do music. So those places, in my mind are like Seattle, Los Angeles, New York, Nashville, and Austin. Like, those are the places that come to mind when we're thinking that. And no to Seattle, no to Los Angeles, no to New York. Although his family's from New York, so being in New York has always been like something he thought he would like, just because his family's there and whatnot. But still not really a hard push to go there. I was like, well, we've never been to Nashville, but we do like Austin. My aunt and uncle moved here in 2099, and so we've been out here a number of times to visit, and that was a big factor. And then Jim's a surfer, and so he's like, well, if we move somewhere, where am I going to surf? Well, there happens to be 2 wave pools not very far from us. There's one in Waco that he goes to, and then there's one in out by the Austin airport, although it's currently closed. And so he's like, well, I'll have surfing options. I have music. We do have a coast, like, I think this would work. So, because for me, it was like, I want to move somewhere a little bit more, not so politically extreme. California feels very politically extreme, and I want to move somewhere with a little bit of balance. And I feel like, and because we really have no balance, there's like, I'm not Democrat or Republican. But like, there's just there's so little balance in California's state Senate and state legislature that there's no Republicans to balance it out.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we wanted to move somewhere that was politically more balanced, had a little bit less extremes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, really Austin was our first choice because he could play music and surf. And I was like, well, I'm going to get a remote job. Like, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to get a remote job. And then I could work from anywhere. So it won't really matter to me. Like, I don't really have, I have less care exactly where we live.
Yeah.
But we had been here many times and liked the area, love the food, like we're foodies. We love to eat. We like nature. There's a lot of nature here. I think people think Texas is not a lot of nature, but there's a lot of nature here.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not sure I could live in the snow, for thinking of like where else we could look at. Like, can I deal with the snow? I don't know. I mean, he's not sure about the heat. I'm not sure about the heat, but we'll see. We'll see how we do the coming summers coming up. But I think, those were like all the things we were thinking about as we were thinking of can we move? And then I got a job with an educational nonprofit that I work from home. And so that was part of it too, was like, I really want to leave the classroom. I'm like, well, I wasn't in the classroom previously. I was supporting teachers for the last 6 years, but I didn't want to be tied to a school district because it meant I was tied to a location. I couldn't move if I was tied to a school district.
Right.
I wanted the freedom to move, and just wanted the freedom to work from home. Like I liked working from home in 2020, but we had 850 square feet. So if I'm working from home, I'm gonna lose my shit. If I'm working from home in 850 square feet, and these 4 walls all day, every day, and I don't leave. It was hard. So I was like, I need more space. So it's like all the factors came into play, I think, and cheaper cost of living, although the house prices were skyrocketing last year.
Yeah, but it's still cheaper than California. Yeah. So, I mean, that's amazing. It's interesting, and how you've connected to so many more people from California, and
we call ourselves California refugees.
Yeah, California refugees that are like, we need to get out of California.
Yeah. Jim being Jim, he posted a Craigslist ad as a musician looking for a band. And, he's very like, wears his heart on his sleeve. You know what you get. There's like he doesn't know how to sugarcoat or be fake. And neither of us do. Like what you see is what you get. Like there's no about how either of us come off. But he said in his post, I don't care about your back status. I don't care about your political views. I don't care about your religious views. If you want to know mine, just watch any George Carlin special. I just want to play the music. And so someone hit him up and was like, hey, I don't need a drummer right now in my band, but I think we'd be friends. Turns out they're from the town next to where we were from in California, and they live here where we do.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's just, and so then they've introduced us to people, and it was that weekend, that Zuby event. There must have been like something astrologically aligned, because seriously, we went to three different events and met people that weekend. It was wild. And it was like, that was our first time like making friends.
That is so cool.
It was pretty cool. And so we met such a really cool group of people, of like-minded, but very friendly. Like I keep saying, Texans are more friendly than Californians. I mean, I know Californians will hate me for saying that, but I don't know. It's just true. People are much friendlier, much more. I feel like people say hi back in California, and you have your one-offs, but like here, they're just more genuinely nice and like want to hang out, not just like the hi, but like want to hang out and want to go grab some coffee or whatever. So it's been
wow, that's good to know. I saw someone on a mom's group post something. I forgot where they moved from. I can't remember where they moved from, but they were a biracial family, and she posted and she said, they just moved to Cedar Park, and she's like, we moved to Texas because we thought that was friendly, but we have not met any friendly people since we've been here. Like, it seems like everybody is just not friendly. And she was discouraged. And then I responded, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I'll be your friend, like, and then somebody was like, well, it's a lot of transplants in Cedar Park. So it's not like not everybody's from Texas anymore. It's just like it's a big mix of melting pot. But I feel like all the people from California that have moved here are super happy to be here and super friendly.
I think so too. I think generally speaking, not everybody, but people who are moving just for a job, right? From a tech job in California to a tech
Yeah.
job might not be, but the people who are moving because they're choosing to move, they know that Texas like has a reputation for being friendlier, and so they want to like assimilate, if you will. They want to
Right. Yeah.
meet people and be friendly and be outgoing and kind of
Yeah.
be more Texan.
Definitely. Yeah. And I mean, you guys moving in the middle of the pressure of everybody get vaccinated, and then moving to, Texas, where it's not so pressure. Well, depending on where you you are, but the state in general, it does not, require it. I think that's a big deal too, is like just knowing that you have that freedom, and it feels good. I can't even